You're live.
Hey guys, welcome to Resistance Chicks. We thought that on one of the last warm days that we have going, we would take you to one of our favorite spots, which is Woodland Mountain Park.
It's right on the river. Cincinnati, that's Kentucky over there.
That's the Ohio, the great Ohio River.
Yes.
We grew up coming to this park. Show them in the summertime they have like a wet for the kids. They can play there and they run. It's really, really popular. They have ice cream.
And they're famous for the frisbee golf here.
They are famous for the frisbee golf. If we still have some daylight, we might head over there and play for a little bit. One last time.
But we thought there was a lot of news today, but I didn't really need to bring up the whole television thing behind us. So we wanted to come outside and in light of all the craziness going on, to bring you some fresh air, the best that we could, right?
Well, at least we're breathing the fresh air.
We're breathing the fresh air.
You can feel it.
So my title was to grab your attention, really to talk about the fact that Twitter has now banned RT
from advertising.
Thanks
to the election interference.
Yeah, what they're claiming is that RT did so much to make sure Donald Trump got elected on Twitter that they are forbidden.
They can't even
from
advertise.
banning. And another twist on that is that an RT bank account, thank you, in the UK has been shut down.
You can't just shut down.
They said it's not up for debate.
Who shut it down?
This UK bank.
Well, what's going to happen to the money? Did they give it back to RT?
They have until December to get everything out. And so Russia, this whole Russian collusion is really, the train is going in one direction, but the brakes have been put on it, and it's been flipped around. We know if there's any Russian collusion, it's with bad.
Having trouble hearing.
Oh, they're having trouble hearing.
Yeah.
Is it maybe the way you're holding the mic? Are you covering anything up?
I don't think he's covering it, sir. That's it. That's the mic, isn't it?
Okay. I don't know. We can get close.
We can get closer. Can you hear me now? 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 There's nothing in the background, so I don't know what would be picking up on it. Let me know. We can always go live through Matt's phone too, if it's just my phone's not picking us up. So anyways, when we're talking about the Russian collusion in the Uranium 1, this whole story is blowing up like a huge volcano.
It's very exciting.
But now everyone on the left is saying, well, isn't it just running campaign, what do they call that? Opposition research? Which is hilarious because Don Jr. met with that one tiny little low level,
and they lost their minds. Russian lady,
because he heard that she might have some dirt on Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was asked about it, he gave all of his information.
Right.
He didn't hide anything. He told everybody everything that was happening. But the fact that the DNC and Hillary Clinton, they all knew that this was them the whole time, this dirty dossier.
Right.
And they
dossier.
They denied it. And Sydney should she do that?
No.
we brought Sydney with us, and she decided to take herself on a little walk. A walkabout. Is that better? Probably for the
Yeah,
light.
it's a little bit too bright for everybody.
All right, so bringing Sydney and Michelle back. Come back, Bobby. Okay, so
And I was blocking the microphone, so sorry about that.
Oh, okay, no, don't worry about it. We have Kansas behind us. He's our cameraman this evening. Can't see his handsome face behind the camera there. But anyways, there is a witness, and he has been cleared by the Department of Justice, thank God, finally, to be able to tell the Senate committees and the House committees everything that he knows about this Russian. It's Rosastom. Sorry, I don't off the top of my head. There's a Russian. It gets really confusing. So when it comes to Uranium 1, A Canadian company owned 20% of the uranium. They sold that to a Russian company. This particular Russian company, to get this 20% of uranium, did kickbacks and corruption, and the witnessed it all, was actually working undercover for the FBI. And 3 people have already gone to jail because of this witness's testimony. However, the crazy thing about this witness being under a gag order in the first place was that the lawyer for this witness said it's unheard of that the FBI would put a gag order with criminal repercussions if he spoke out to somebody in the government, to senators. You would think that a witness would be able to talk to a senator or a representative. But finally he's been cleared, and we can't wait to hear what he had to say, because his lawyer and Sarah Carter, who broke this story through the Hill, they are convinced that what this witness has to say
is going to put people in prison.
Well, either that or show that, and it's going to pull Mueller off of the investigation with the Trump-Russia collusion, because he was he was part of the FBI team, Comey, Rosenstein, all these guys right now who are investigating Trump. It's the investigators need to be investigated. And so that's what I'm talking about, the deep state. So when we're talking about the deep state, all these stories come together when we're talking about Las Vegas.
Everything is linked, and there is a lot. You're going to get to the Las Vegas thing?
We're going to, there are 2 major minor stories.
First of all, Stephen Paddock's brother has had
Bruce
has had a discovery of a massive amount of child porn on his computer. He's been arrested. And so we were talking about this last night, and a Patriot Gallery, who obviously isn't here, but she was saying, I just don't trust it. I don't trust. And Lee and I are saying he was a high roller, obviously, because the whole family was. They're very corrupt.
They're all
to me,
corrupt.
It doesn't surprise me.
Sense.
However, she is right in saying that this just seems a little bit suspect. It kind of seems like a plant, like they are trying to solidify the single shooter story by saying this man and his whole family really is cray-cray enough to pull this off. You know, and so I feel like it is.
So he looks like he could definitely be a child molester. I'm not ruling that out, but if he had any sort of brain like his brother and being a good criminal, if your brother is arrested for shooting a bunch of people,
you dump that stuff. You get rid of it.
You just destroy it all.
Kansas knows a little bit about getting rid of child porn. Tell them your story.
Your poo-poo face. Oh, sorry, your dad.
Well, go get your dog.
Well, my dad was, really into that stuff, and, digging pornography out of dumpsters and everything. So, yeah, I've burned it and thrown it away.
A couple times, and you had to pull it, and he pulled it out of the dumpster, and you had to put it back.
No, but what about your uncle
and his boyfriend?
What happened there?
Well, he had an altercation allegedly with the young boy, and then he went to jail for a while, and then he got out later.
But your dad helped your uncle dump the porn.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. You dump the porn.
So if your dad and your uncle were smart enough to dump the porn, which we're not making light of it, it's awful. You would think that somebody like Stephen Paddock's brother would immediately just get rid of it, because that's what criminals do when they're about to get caught, So that's Matt's little story there.
You dump the porn, man. That's what you do. I'm just saying, it seems a little suspect that he would have not realized that in doing all that deep investigating that of course they are going to do into the man that did the biggest mass shooting we've seen in modern history.
Well, even Stephen Paddock's brother was saying...
Eric, you mean?
Is that him? Is that his name, Eric? Mm-hmm. He was saying, you're probably going to dig up stuff on me. You're probably going to find crazy stuff.
Right.
He's like, he knew.
Yeah, because he probably tried to dump as much of it as
he probably did too. So anyways, another interesting development, speaking of dumping information, is that laptop that was found in his in Stephen Paddock's room has no hard drive.
Where did that hard drive?
So the only thing I can think of is I'm a criminal, and I'm not thinking like a criminal. The only thing that I think of, if they didn't find it, he didn't eat it, swallow it. He had to bash it up in tiny pieces, and flush it down the toilet.
Okay, no.
That's
Somebody
the only
has
thing.
stolen and hidden the hard drive.
No. Like Patriot Gallery,
the FBI or the CIA has that thing.
She said that's code for we destroyed it.
Yeah, or they just have it somewhere.
Yeah. So we're not going to let you know what's on it. So
Right.
that shows us how deep this is. So Alex Jones was saying that it's ISIS or this or that. And I really think that, unfortunately, I think Alex was played
I do too.
By Deep State. And because this
source.
is a false flag, which means it's not that it didn't happen. It's that the CIA is either part of it or knew of Stephen Paddock and knew of his gun running. I believe with all these weapons that it was a gun deal that was supposed to go down or something that happened.
So we can talk about a little bit, and maybe if anybody comes up with some, Kansas can read them out and interrupt us. But there are several things about this that stick out to me as false flag. One of them is, where are all the bullet holes? There were all of those trailers, those modulars around the concert area. How come the windows weren't shot out? Mm-hmm. How come they weren't busted? How come there weren't bullet holes in the roof and in the siding of those things?
How come that door, if he shot it with, we've shot a 223. Did they tell us what gun that he shot the door with? 200 bullet holes. Wouldn't that be in smithereens?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be in that door, like the angle that they've shown us?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a bullet hole. I have stared at that picture.
Right.
I can't even see one bullet hole.
Right. And the other people that have snuck up there, I mean, nobody has shown us footage, as from a reporting aspect, of bullet holes in the hallways that I have seen. If anybody else sees them, you can send them to us.
Wouldn't the hallway be blown to bits?
Where is Mary Lou? How come we haven't heard from Stephen Paddock's girlfriend?
And this just out today.
Jose Campos.
It's found somebody gave a source gave a sheet to Tucker Carlson that Jose Campos, a week after the shooting, was found re-entering the United States, which means they don't have records of him entering into Mexico, but he went into Mexico, and a week after the shooting, he was coming back into the United States. Driving. Now, what makes this incredibly interesting is that it's at the entry point that he entered back into the United States is the same entry point that he came in January. But in January, he was driving his own car, and this time he was driving a rental car with California license plates. Now, 200 bullet holes would mean that he probably, in my opinion, was shooting the bump stock AR-15. That's 200 shots.
Stephen Paddock.
Or
whoever.
So if this guy was shot with a 223, his leg, it should almost be blown off.
Yeah, comment. How did he go 700 miles with a hole in his leg?
Exactly.
And driving, like, you all know that if you have like a sprained ankle or something,
it's hard to
you
drive.
have to elevate your leg.
I'm gonna guess it wasn't a stick shift.
So how did he drive himself from Mexico to Las Vegas with his leg that he obviously on Ellen is walking with a cane?
Yeah,
like
so
limping.
Maybe it was just a nick,
that's got to be a fake limp.
Maybe it was like a razor burn.
If you have a limp, there's no way you're driving for what 700 miles from Mexico to Las Vegas. So none of this. And Tucker Carlson, I love him because he's like the only person like with half a brain that's like, none of this makes sense. Like, seriously, it's like nothing is adding up. Like, nothing.
You guys, I have to tell you, there are videos. Obviously, false flag meaning it did happen. There were a lot of things that...
But the CIA or the FBI...
all of the information that we have been given...
Yeah.
None of the evidence is there to support those things that they're telling us.
Right.
Okay, the 500 people wounded, the...
550?
Yeah, the 59 people... Dead. How come we're not hearing from the families? We're not... okay, even
and why
5%,
is it over?
5% of those people, at least, of those families, should be speaking out. Okay?
And some people I have seen on Twitter and YouTube were posting like family members and different things like that and starting GoFundMes, and then it was found out that there was like a gay couple. There was another couple that were crisis actors I saw. I wanted to bring that to you guys. He's like, I have a wound in my head, and everybody's like, if you were shot in the head, why didn't they shave the back of your head? Everyone knows they shave your head.
Right.
They shave wherever you have hair to give you stitches.
Yep.
And he's like, $100,000 into a GoFundMe,
People are a little bit gullible.
Yeah, and some people are really awful. And so, and why is it we're not really talking about Las Vegas anymore? It was like for 2 or 3 days, or maybe even a week, we talked about it.
For a week.
Or on the mainstream media. And the big thing they wanted to push was gun control. And when they realized that wasn't going to go, so if it's a false flag, it was to push gun control.
Right.
And it didn't work. Nothing that these people are doing, the whole deep state. Now, remember, it all ties into the FBI and CIA, these deep state people who have been controlling our lives. And the reason I put the title in there about the CIA controls Google is because it's well known that, I think you can even Google it, that the CIA helped fund Google because
they not just fund them, but actually gave them the technology
Right.
to accomplish the things that they are doing.
So that's
Same thing with Facebook.
That's why other startups can't get going, because they don't have that new technology and they don't have the access that the government gave them.
Bingo.
And Michelle and I, we were driving here on the highway, and this is the best way I would describe it. So the government created the internet or whatever, not Al Gore. Help to push forward, to disseminate information in a better way to control our lives and our minds. Yep. And retailers really like this idea, because then they could get ads to us and get us to buy more things. Right. And so for a while there, the internet was kind of rolling in the direction that they wanted to, and they allowed it to be as free as possible. Right. So that they could, the idea was that everybody's flowing freely, and then they would be dropping in their propaganda. It's all about propaganda. You guys are sending me articles all the time about how the government now is allowed to do propaganda. They've always done propaganda. They have a war propaganda. You can see especially World War II ads.
And so it makes total sense that they would use the latest technology to
Right.
promote whatever propaganda that they see fit. But one thing that I wanted to add to this is, as far as, Google and YouTube being considered public utilities, if we funded them, and we are, the FBI and the CIA, even though they've kind of gone off the reservation, they still are funded by us, we the people, all right? And so if we funded them
Absolutely.
and we gave them the tech, then they can't censor us, and they are considered a public utility.
The same thing with the railroads. The railroads, they were given land by our government. They were the government
Right.
helped get railroads going.
Right.
But the government also controlled them too.
Right.
The same thing with the telephones and things like that. And so it's when you see what you see happening right now, but you can definitely see what you can see right now if you Google something on YouTube. This has been driving me insane. We came up on one of the top search results for what was it they weren't covering that we did, and we had
Just the other day?
Yeah, it was just the other day that the government wasn't going to cover it. Was it the Open Secret?
Yeah, an
so
Open
we
Secret
came up on one of the
documentary.
top search results for the Open Secret because the mainstream media wasn't covering that.
Right.
However, anything at all that's covered by the mainstream media now, it's
The carousel.
It's called the carousel, and you can see it in James O'Keefe Project Veritas undercover video, in which the head YouTube guy says because of fake news they created in January, they call it the carousel, but basically it drops our videos, anybody's regular videos, whether you're making a how to fix your car video or how to paint video,
but especially the news.
But especially the news, Sydney, and she don't like it either. She says,
old lady.
So if you tried to Google anything, I can't remember what the last thing I tried to YouTube, but literally, I went through 3 pages of
Mainstream
Time,
media.
MSNBC,
ABC,
New York
CBS.
Times, ABC, and that's not what YouTube was created for. YouTube was created as a free, open highway, and
Well, they have to rename it now to MSM Tube.
yeah, MSN Tube, Mainstream Media Tube.
Yeah.
It's not YouTube anymore.
Right.
Definitely not. But the same thing's happening in Facebook. I was listening to RT explain this whole Twitter debacle with the ads, how they're not allowed to put ads anymore on Twitter. And they're saying, yes, it's censorship, but they said during the election, Twitter came to RT with a package saying, we'll give you emojis, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. Just like they do to us on our tiny little resistance chicks.
Yeah,
you know, promote this for $3, except for their giant package that they were going to give them for advertising cost them too much.
Right.
So they didn't actually go with that. They may have spent a couple $100,000 on Twitter. But if a couple $100,000 on Twitter and $150 on Facebook is all you need to
do a whole election for an entire country,
then you should be hiring RT because
they're good. They're good.
But no, that's not the case. It's not the case.
Hillary Clinton's just upset she didn't hire RT.
Exactly.
But she couldn't because we were talking about it on the way here. They are real people. Whether you agree with RT or not, the people that the hosts on that show are genuine, real people.
Right, exactly. When you watch, you guys know this, when you turn on ABC or NBC or CNN, those hosts are like, it's like chewing cardboard.
Yeah.
You know, it's not real food. Those aren't real people. They're plastic. They're robots. But the RT people, you know, they're not getting paid $1 million. They're just real
Their income's probably
people.
pretty low.
And like Michelle said, whether you agree with it or not, there's a lot of skeptics and conspiracy theorists and truthers on YouTube. And I listen to like a lot of you guys, a lot of them.
So there's a screenshot thanks to Justin Worth a Look for the Twitter thing. I'm going to pull up the Corey Feldman thing really quick too.
Oh, we'll end with that. But anyways, with the RT was saying, listen, we were a different voice, and Twitter actually wanted to promote a fair and balanced,
stop it,
an impartial voice. That was what they sat down. They had a great relationship with Twitter, and Twitter said, we want an impartial voice in this election. Will you put your voice out there?
Isn't that so beautiful?
And,
but then afterwards, they're now not fair and balanced.
But they can't, because it's not Twitter's fault. It's the CIA and the FBI, the deep state, who are still promoting this whole dossier. All of this information, sorry about that, I forgot to turn off my text messaging. All of this information that we have on Trump and Trump collusion and the whole Russian interference comes from this stupid dossier, you know, and Mueller and the FBI is behind this dossier.
Right.
And so it's really not RT, it's not Russia. And I'll remind you guys again, because it's so important for me as a Christian. In 2015, I prayed and fasted for 40 days, and while I was doing that, the Lord told me Russia, 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 all over and over and over again.
Oh, trust me, we all heard
and
about
I wrote it down. I recently re-showed them this in May 2015, and God told me to love Russia. The reason being is that Russia's actually thrown off communism, and has embraced free speech and democracy more than our country has. You can see the push of our CIA and FBI pushing down free speech through Facebook and Twitter.
Massive
Literally,
censorship.
we're living in a fascist government right now, shutting us down.
Speaking of which, that reminds me, somebody had said something really awesome about the guy that threw the flags at Trump.
Yeah.
And he had yelled, you know, something like, we're in a fascist country. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he did say something about this is a fascist country. And this other guy had said, listen, if you can throw flags at the president of the United States or president of any country and yell that you're in a fascist country and not be shot dead, then you're actually not in a fascist country.
Right.
And I thought that was really pertinent. It's like, duh, in a fascist country, boom, you're dead. We do not live. I don't think these people have any idea what fascism really is.
Oh, absolutely not.
All right, so is that...
Yeah, so the CIA is pretty much controlling everything from Twitter to Facebook to Russian RT, and we just have to find all the back ways around.
Right.
Don't give up. Keep sharing on your Facebook, even though there's a new algorithm out there on Facebook so that you can't. There's algorithms on Google so that when you Google news that you want to see, it gets put to the bottom.
Well, a lot of our viewers are getting censored. I think Britt Baza's been censored. I know Worth a Look has been censored on Facebook.
Well, and they're censoring in different countries.
Just for posting
just
things.
News. So just keep fighting, because when the devil and the evil comes out like this as a fascist government that they really are, we can identify them and we can take them down.
I believe it.
And then speaking of identifying people,
well, just before that, before we get to Corey, The Black Death is spreading through Madagascar, and other 9 countries are urged to prepare. And I just thought that was something worth noting. South Africa is among the British holiday hotspots identified by the World Health Organization as priority countries to get ready to defend against Black Death. Madagascar is facing a worrying spread of the deadly disease, with 124 people killed already and a total of 1,133 people having been infected across the country, with the risk of further spread of this disease being very high, according to the latest of the WHO analysis. So the disease has so far been self-contained in Madagascar, South Africa, I've never even heard of this country, Mauritius, Seychelles, Tanzania, La Réunion, Mozambique, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Comoros.
Not going there.
They've all been put on notice. So there you
Death,
go.
man.
Black. You know what? I feel like it's kind of a symbolic thing.
Yes.
Black Death. Black Death.
Okay, so Corey Feldman, he needs our support.
Yep.
I don't know if I think he might have a GoFundMe up. He is going to speak out.
Yes.
He's afraid.
He's going to do a video.
He came out with a video earlier.
No, I mean, like, he wants to do a real feature film.
Right.
Well, there were several comments of people saying, skip the big feature film, just put it out there and get it over with instead of just toying at the idea of releasing it.
Right.
Well,
I would
just put the information out there.
Corey, this is his film earlier.
It's a reflection. You can't really see.
Nope. All right. Well, anyway, he sounds awful.
His bandmates left him.
He was arrested. He's going through a lot, but what he wants is support to protect his family. And here's the thing, even regardless of whether he does a feature film or just puts out a video like that, we would all be satisfied with a video like that, but I think he wants to really make it so that it's taken seriously. So I don't blame him for that, because if he just does this, it's not going to be taken as seriously as if he does a feature film. So I understand why he wants to do that. I'm with you guys. I would be like, just put it out there, but it would probably just get swept under the rug. Sweep. So anyway, I think Michael Thomas, one of our moderators, had also sent this to me, and my response is, I'm hoping that he doesn't get suicided, because this has happened over and over and over again with so many people that have tried to come out.
Well, I hope he writes it all down.
He needs to actually make a video like that, revealing it all,
like
and saying, I didn't OD, you know, because that's exactly usually the type of thing. He's already been, they tried to run him down. 2 trucks came at him. And so I'm applauding him. He's like, listen, this is not where my life was headed. Right. I don't want to relive these things over and over again. My bandmates have left me. I was going great with my band. I was happy, but I've got 30,000 new followers on Twitter. We can make this happen. I'm willing to stop everything that I'm doing, living my life, to put this out there.
The pedophile ring.
What are the people saying, Kansas? Anything pertinent?
Security detail needs to be trustworthy.
Yes.
and he already gave the info to someone in case something happens to him.
Okay, good. That's very good.
That is good.
So hopefully we'll hear more. He talked about having a major top pedophile ring that goes to one of the biggest studios, and he's got info on that. So more power to him. Let's pray for Corey and
bring him down. Oh, another little thing. Matt used to watch The Morning Joe Scarborough. During the election, I thought that Joe was giving kind of not fair balance, but like he was coming out against the Clintons a little bit. However, there is the guy with the dark hair that you always see on Joe Scarborough. Well,
the nameless man.
It's come out that he has sexually harassed multiple women when he worked for ABC, so he has been temporarily or permanently fired from MSNBC. And Mika came out this morning and was like, our friend, what's his name? You guys know his name. I don't even care. I've seen him.
Think our viewers watch this stuff?
Well, we know about them. I was watching Morning Joe during the election because they, had some decent stuff.
Anyway, Mika said,
she's like, we'll wait to find out. This happened 10 years ago.
So obviously he's had a major change of
But
heart.
what's so funny is she came out against Trump, came out against Weinstein, but when her own friend does it, it was 10 years ago.
Right, because when was Trump's thing?
Over 10 years ago.
I love it.
And he actually did anything. All Trump did was unfortunately, while it is nasty what he said,
with
nobody
women,
said that he did anything.
Here's the thing.
We know from Hollywood that these women actually do this. They throw themselves.
And that's the thing about these Hollywood
and that's what Trump was
stars,
saying.
the female ones, that makes me very saddened for the women in Hollywood, is that they are willing to sell their bodies in order to be famous.
Yeah, it's so funny to have these women like all dressed like hookers talking about sexual harassment.
Okay, so here it's kind of representative of like some sort of weird bondage thing to start with, dressed completely inappropriately, and yet these women don't want to be objectified. But you're in a business where you let them objectify everything about women.
This was clickbait for me. I watched Halle Berry with James Corbin do it was a rap battle. I don't know why I watched it. Don't ask me, but I did. Halle Berry is very nasty. She said not only did she drop the F-bomb, she used every awful sexual innuendo, explicit thing in her joke. I was like, go wash your mouth out with bleach. Did you kiss your mama with those lips, girlfriend? She's nasty. So all these women in Hollywood a lot of them are very nasty and disgusting. Yeah. And so when Weinstein or all these other guys do this stuff, it's like, you're such a hypocrite.
They are hypocrites. I'm sorry. If you Google, I didn't understand this, because you see these movie stars and you think they're so fantastic. I'm specifically thinking about the women. But if you just want to find a picture of, name any person that you think is like awesome, like Julia Roberts, standard, seems like a
good girl, American, all-American.
There's pictures of her on the internet that she's posed for, okay? Where these people are not who you think that they are.
Don't treat me like a porn star. I only act like one on TV.
It's true. All right, Kansas, anybody saying anything we need to reiterate?
Someone said that there's a reason why actress and prostitute used to mean the same thing.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
There is a reason.
My mom always used the word hypocrite. Actor and hypocrite used to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very good.
Well, the sun is setting on the...
Several people asked about the pigs, but...
How are the pigs doing?
Well, we're not actually outside at our place.
I think they missed the intro.
Okay. Oh, we are. Show them again. We're at our favorite park, Woodland Mound Park. The sun is setting over our Ohio River, and this is where Cincinnati meets Kentucky. That's Kentucky over there, and we thought that one of our last beautiful days, the high was 60 degrees, it was sunny and warm, that we would bring you guys to our park and
go play some frisbee golf.
Realize that life is living and all this stuff is crazy, but at the end of the day, hug your family, love your kids, and have fun. Have fun.
I like that ending. All right, you guys, thank you for being with us. Kansas, thank you
as
for
we
being
take
the
down the
camera
globalists
holder.
because we are winning.
All right, bye, guys. And then press OK.
Okay.